show's organizer is Amira Wazir.
Make him fall in love all over again.
W. Muhammad's mission is to adapt Islam to the character of America. The movement tries to appeal to the modern American woman, even while retaining traditional Islamic dress, which covers the hair and body. Islamic modesty demanded that for this event, our camera crew had to be female.
Everybody that's in that room is female. And at that point in time, they get an opportunity to party with us, you know, and this is exactly what we do. You know, America knows that behind closed doors now, we partay.
Amira believes that Islam provides black women more dignity than they are usually given by white society. But that doesn't mean that they must reject everything American.
I wouldn't like to see us sound like Turkish people or sound like Pakistani people with our culture, with our music, etc. That's phony. That's imitative. That's copying somebody. You're not yourself. And that won't help us at all. I would like to see us right where we are, take the best of what we have, and just express it as Muslims. And it will come out beautifully, and it will be our identity and our culture.
Oh, what a beautiful day.
This blending of Islam and African-American culture has proved popular with most of the original members of the Nation of Islam. Muhammad Sadiq is marrying off 2 of his 15 children. He now believes that Islam can enable blacks to gain their rightful place in America. But back in the 60s, he was a keen follower of Elijah Muhammad and the bow-tied extremism of the Nation of Islam. After Elijah's death, Sadiq, like his friend Muhammad Ali, followed W. Muhammad into Orthodox Islam. Sadiq became an imam in a middle-class suburb in Indiana.
Husband and wife, and according to the laws of Islam, the Quran, and the Sunnah of the Prophet.
Sadiq no longer preaches about white devils, but about the degeneracy of America's sexual revolution.
I'm looking at all kinds of little strange ideas creeping into our thinking today. Strange relationships between men and women. Strange relations between men and men. Strange relationships between women and women. Strange attitudes toward...
But one of Sadiq's old colleagues followed a very different path, Louis Farrakhan. Sadiq remembers how Farrakhan became disillusioned when W. Muhammad embraced Orthodox Islam. Farrakhan missed the limelight and hated the criticism of Elijah Muhammad.
It was very difficult for many people to come to grips with the fact that many of the things that we had learned were not accurate. Coming to grips with, it was difficult for Minister Farrakhan coming to grips with having been deceived in many instances. And I heard Minister Farrakhan himself say he had been deceived.
Eventually, he returned to preaching that Elijah Muhammad was the divine messenger.
After about 3 years of my leadership, Minister Farrakhan, he came to me and he told me that he has been trying to go along, but it's become more difficult for him to go along with things that I was saying about the Honorable Elijah, about my father, he said, to discredit him. Farrakhan disagreed with the turn that I made to the real Islam, and he decided to go back and revive the Nation of Islam.
I said Hitler was a wickedly great man. I didn't make a mistake. I know the language. You taught it to me, white folks. Now all of a sudden you got dumb to the meaning of what great is.
By deliberate provocation and calculated showmanship, Louis Farrakhan created a new following. To the anger of his old colleagues, he presented himself as a Muslim, even though what he taught had little to do with Orthodox Islam.
Will you do that, America? Will you stop us?
The strategy now is offensive in the sight of God. That's unacceptable. That's wrong. And I think that strategy has to find its ending if Minister Farrakhan is going to save himself.
And if you do, what should our response be? What did you say?
We should be pushing the Quran. So if you're not pushing the Quran, then what are you pushing? Your own agenda.